Hello,
Good.
everyone. I'm just waiting for Councilmember Ramos Amit.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, greetings.
Hello. Before we get started, I'm looking at all these backgrounds. I look at Councilmember Miller's background and our clerk's background and Rob, the city manager. I need to work on the maps and the blinds.
We can send you these. We have now about 6 that we're supposed to be using.
Oh yeah, actually I should use them for tomorrow for the TCC presentation.
That would be, yeah, that'd be great for some of the other calls I'm on.
Yeah, if you could send them to us, that'd be great.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks great.
It may be in a Dropbox, but just because they're pretty heavy files, you know how to add them.
I don't know about you guys, but city manager, you're coming in a little groggy with audio.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know why.
Yeah. But it's a quick meeting, so I think we'll be okay. But however, I do appreciate the maps because it's easily accessible if I'm looking for something, or I've always been a map guy since elementary school. Geography, I always liked it. Welcome to our quick special meeting, Mr. Graham.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great.
I also will be asking the city manager for an Indio background. I want to fit in.
Nice.
That'll work.
We'll send it to all of you. So while we're waiting, is my voice just crackly? Is that what it is?
You know, every time that you speak, it sounds like something's going on with your microphone.
Okay.
Garbly. It's like you can hear you, we can understand you, but it's kind of like a muffled, like a
Yeah.
garble.
Good to know. Thank you.
Did Lupe say she's not going to be joining us?
I have not received any communication.
She confirmed it was a good day and time about a week ago.
We give her a quick text real quick, see if she jumps
Yeah,
on.
exactly. Yeah, I'll do that.
504.
Oscar, what are the pictures that you have on your wall?
Back there,
Yeah.
those are some art pieces. 3 of them are from one of my art teachers in college.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 2
Neat.
of them I got at the Palm Desert Mall from some random artist, and this one I got at a powwow. It's like a picture of a teepee and a sunset.
Oh, very cool. They look
Yeah.
very like them.
Thank you.
Yes, I always wondered what the pictures were like back.
Yeah,
But it's like, oh, what is
they're like pretty colorful. Yeah.
very colorful?
I sent Lupe a text, but she's not responding. So I'll try calling her.
In the meantime, council member, you can start working on all the City of Indio art pieces we have in public. You get the colossal cacti, Symbolic Cave. We have the dog over on the other side of town. We're also working on some new ones. The Art Commission has some good stuff coming to us. So you know, a lot of exciting stuff going on. You can work on that on your other wall. Yeah,
Well, Lupe isn't answering or responding to my text, so I take that as a not coming on board for whatever reason.
That or Brian's talking to. Okay.
Well, I like that we're redoing some of the utility boxes. Some of them had gotten really, really rough looking, and it's so nice to see some of the artwork, new artwork. It's fun. It's fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one next to Applebee's is really cool.
Yes, yes.
That one's nice.
Yeah, one of my little morning tours, I got to check out them in the progress. Layla was out with some of the signage folks, so it's pretty cool to see that stuff going back up, and in conjunction with all the other art pieces we have, and just working on the road infrastructure, working on these projects. There's so much going on in the city. It's almost unbelievable how much we have going on. So it's just exciting stuff.
Very exciting. It is believable because we've been working on it for the last 4 years.
You got that.
We
So
gonna
Get
roll.
the meeting going.
Clerk, can
Yeah.
we still, I mean, we have a quorum, correct? We can still handle this meeting.
Yes, you can start the meeting, Mayor.
Okay, so it's 5:07. Today's date is August 24, 2022. I'll call this meeting to order. The City of Indio City Council special meeting. My name is Wayman Furman. I am the mayor of the city. I'll be chairing this special meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Holmes,
Present.
Councilmember Miller,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz,
Present.
and Mayor Furman.
Present.
And for the record, Councilmember Ramos Hamid is absent.
All right, the next item on the special agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And if I could ask our new city attorney, Mr. Stephen Graham, to do us the honor and lead us in the pledge of the flag.
All right, will do. Please place your right hand over your heart. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
To
To
the
the
flag
flag
States
of
of
the
America,
United States of
States of
America,
America,
to the republic,
and to the republic
which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and
liberty and
justice for all.
justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you for that honor, Mayor.
All right, thank you, sir, and welcome to the city of Indio. It's great to have you. And our next item is an action item. It's item 3.1. It's an adopt resolution number 10324, appointing the qualified candidates as elected for council member districts 2 and 4 as a result of having only one qualified candidate for each office during the nomination period for the November 8, 2022 general municipal election, or continue to hold the election for council member district 2 and 4 with one qualified candidate for each contest for the November 8th, 2022 general municipal election. And this item will be handled by our city clerk administrator, Ms. Sabdi Sanchez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. So we have a situation where at the close of nomination period, let me see, my speaker is on, yes. On August 12th at 4 p.m., only one person for District 2 and one person for District 4 filed and was nominated for that seat of council member. The elections code has a process if no one else is running for office, other than the incumbent, that the process, the process is to submit a certificate of facts to the city council that only one candidate filed by the end of the nomination period, which was August 17th, and publish the notice of facts on the paper of general circulation and hold a meeting. The election code also states the following. So after the 5th day following the date of posting, which was 8/19, the governing body, which is the council, may make an appointment or direct an election to be held. The person appointed, if any, shall qualify and take office and serve exactly as if elected at a municipal election for that office. This is a common situation. In fact, there are 9 instances in the county of Riverside this election cycle that are going through it. The meeting was held, or this meeting is being held according to the election timelines. So the recommendation before you is to make a direct appointment, given that no one else filed, or proceed with the election. That is the report, Mayor.
Okay. This is just an action item. Do we have any comments or questions by council?
City clerk, just for the record, how much money are we saving by going through this process?
So exactly for District 2 and District 4 combined, a total savings of $52,000 $293.50.
Yeah, that's a few pennies for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's prudent that we just do that. The $50,000 that you're talking about is half the money we'd be utilizing for our grant program. I mean, and
Yeah.
you know, we're talking about that. So I don't see any need to run an election on two peoples that are running unopposed if we don't have to. So I'm more than happy to make that motion. I'm more than happy to listen to anybody else that has anything to say, but I just don't think we waste the money. If you want to save the money and do it, I'm good about putting it into the grant program, move it up to 150,000 if you want to, but I just can't see you having an election for two people that don't have anybody running against them.
No, you know what? I made some phone calls, and from what I was hearing, people really want to see the names on the ballots. They want to be a part of that process. I think it's important for voter participation, even for voter participation in the future as well. Having those names, having people participate in that, but also just getting people involved. I think they think that it's going to be easier to get more voters involved throughout the city if me and Wayman both are on that election ballot.
You know, I hear what you're saying, but I think it's, I think whenever we are stewards of our city's finances. And I think that it's important. $50,000 is no small amount. I mean, I agree with you if it was 10,000 or something of that nature, but $50,000 is a significant amount. And I think it's important to keep that money in our coffers, my opinion.
Yes.
Right. City Clerk, do we have any kind of historical record of what we've done in the past with folks if they weren't ran unopposed?
Mayor, I do not have any information going back. I have not been in this position. I haven't seen that in the past elections where I've been here.
All right. If I may, and by all means, our council members who have been here, they do not have to answer. I'm just asking, in the history, have you ever ran unopposed and your name be on the ballot, since you have some history of being here?
Well, one of the differences, we're in districts now. We've always had, since we've had districts, no, because we've always had somebody run against everybody that I'm aware of. So, you know, it's a little bit different. Before we had, it's at large. So, you know, you had to have the election no matter what, because you had to do it. Now it's individual districts. So it's not an at large bid. So back then we didn't have any opportunities to really do that, because you had to elect the people that were there. And there was always more than, you know, the amount of people that were on the ballot. So if there was 3 openings, they usually had 4 or 5. So, you know, and it was an at large vote. This is a district vote. If this was in a large vote where everybody voted, yeah, I'd say, you know, and there was only 3 of you, I'd say still would save the money. But we haven't done it since the district. Everybody's had somebody run against them. This is the first time we have not.
I don't mean to Glenn, I don't mean to counter what you're saying, but last election, I did not have anybody running against me. I did not. I was not offered the opportunity. I was not aware. I did not know that this process was available. Otherwise, I mean, it just went through. I filed my papers. I was told no one, you know, is opposing me, and it went through whatever process it goes through. I did not know that we had the option of not putting names on the ballot to save money. I was completely unaware of that. So just in all truth and honesty, didn't want somebody to dig that up and find that up after the fact. But so I'm sorry, had I known, I would not. I would absolutely have taken my name off the ballot.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I just was asking, and I appreciate both the council members asking. This is a new, you know, something new for us. So we're looking at it. Our clerk, you have your hand up?
Yes, Mayor. So I'm sorry. The reason why at the last election, and I apologize, at the last election, we did have an appointment of the city clerk and the city treasurer, and those 2 seats were citywide. And the reason why we could not do District 3 at that time for Elaine was because Councilmember Holmes was because we had 2 citywide contests. So when you have a citywide item on the ballot, you cannot do appointments for districts.
Interesting.
Even if she wanted to, she could not do it because of a citywide.
But it's for districting, but this is to go on the ballot, correct?
Right, but this year we don't have any citywide ballots or any citywide contests yet.
Very interesting. Learn something new every day.
What about the desert recreation district ballot measure?
It's not
I
ours.
believe they have different rules.
Yeah, it's
Those
not
Those are
ours. It's not
different
city.
different
Yeah.
ballots going out.
They have different rules.
Okay.
No, I'm saying, but isn't that a citywide ballot?
But not from the
It's
city
not
of
city.
Indio.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I have an opinion on it, and quite frankly, you know, I would prefer to be on the ballot, especially with a new district as well. And it gives the folks opportunity to understand who their representative is. And although I know we represent the city as a whole, that is our voting district, and they need to understand who they report to as well. I know there's other mechanisms. The ballot is not that only mechanism. However, it does show that they're represented. And I understand the points that were made by the council members of being stewards of the finances. However, you know, we are also obligated to some of our constituents who prefer that we are on the ballot and they see that they're represented. So I don't know how this would go, clerk, if we take a vote, and I could kind of see where it's going to go. So what are our options?
We can take a vote. And if we only have 4 members present, so depending on the first vote. So if you like, I can do roll call.
Okay,
So
so
we could real quick. I'd like.
We have
ask
to make a
the
motion.
we got to get a motion, yeah.
I need
But
a
if Councilmember Miller, if you want to speak on it.
Yeah. City attorney. If we were to have a vote, and it's because we don't have a full quorum, we have a quorum, but not a full council. 2-2, is it the same as denial?
Yes, so you essentially have no action taken. I reviewed the City of Indio's municipal code just to make sure you didn't have any extra special rules that aren't generally applicable. Turns out you do. Under section 30.64 of the Indio Municipal Code, if you have not enough affirmative votes, it's no action, and the city clerk is required to bring it back at the next regular meeting of the city council. However, the timeline required by Elections Code 10229 requires that action on this be done by the 75th day before the election. So if no action is taken today, it would be a moot point. We can't bring it back at the next election. The election would be called.
Interesting. So I guess maybe we can have a couple more minutes of discussion, and let's see if we could come to some sort of agreement of which direction we want to go. This is a timeline that we have to meet, and even if we did have an option to be at our next council meeting, I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be available anyways, and so this wouldn't work. So I like to just keep the discussion open for a few more minutes to see what direction we could go. It's quite quiet. So let me pose a question to Mr. Rockwell. Out of these funds, where are these funds coming from? Being that this is for an election, where do these funds come from?
So there are appropriations that are adopted in the city clerk's budget that cover election costs. So if you didn't have the cost, it would effectively be savings that would be recognized within the city clerk's budget. And of course, those appropriations could be moved to another department for any other purpose that the council chose.
General fund money?
So will we be
General
able
fund.
to, so in other words, if we take this funding, if it's not utilized here, it could be appropriated for another budget.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, Councilman Ortiz, I think we lost you, but I see city manager is
Oh, I thought I would just echo what Mr. Rockwell indicated. You know, these funds would be sent to the county rather than being used here locally. And just wanted to clarify in case someone online didn't understand that those living in these two districts, if there were not a city item on the ballot, they still would receive ballots and they would still vote. There'll be a number of items, as you might expect, on the ballot coming up, including the Desert Recreation District matter. They just would not find within their 20 choices of, or 20 matters to vote on, they just would not find a city council seat. It could then be on the subsequent election, obviously. But back to what Mr. Graham had indicated, since our September 21st meeting is outside the deadline, it really has to be decided today. We may actually have tomorrow. Is that right, Sadly?
Yes, so the elections code states that it's if by the 75th day before the municipal election, which is tomorrow, no person has been appointed to office pursuant no office, then the election shall be held. So we only have until tomorrow.
And so let me make a suggestion to Oscar and Waymond. Hopefully it doesn't fall flat. So I hear what you're saying. It's important for your constituents, especially since we've had a reorganization of the districts. It's important to say, hey, I represent you. And so a suggestion, because I'm sorry, 50,000, I mean, for all the different places and different organizations we can put that money. Why don't you send out, and yes, there's a cost to it, but I'm sure there are people and supporters and you can raise money and whatnot to send out, you know, a half page or I'm going to call it a postcard. That's not the correct term. Put your picture on it. Put everything that you have completed. What have you accomplished in your 4 years and what you plan on doing? Send it out. Let me introduce myself. I am your district, you know, 2 or 4 council member Waymond. This is where you can reach me. We have done these things in the last 4 years, and this is what we are looking forward to in the next 4 years. That will cost a lot less than $50,000. Just a thought.
Yeah, I got a question that because I appreciate that, and I got a question of the city manager and Rob because I'm a little confused now. If we don't use this, city manager, correct me, the funds go to the county?
Well, we pay the county to handle these elections. So Sabdi's received a estimate of what it would cost, what we would pay the county to conduct the elections in these 2 districts. And it's roughly $26,000 for each district. Mm-hmm. So if the elections were not held, the funds that Mr. Rockwell indicated are budgeted could then be reallocated to other projects. Councilmember Miller indicated the grant funds. It could go towards some other special projects. Maybe to an idea Councilwoman Holmes was indicating, it could be perhaps a city expense. It couldn't have your photo and a bunch of information, but we could, at much less cost, send a notice to every registered voter in each district to let them know what occurred and who your representative is and what your contact information is. Perhaps we need to avoid the mass mailing concern that the city attorney can guide us on. So that's just an alternative selection where for probably $5,000 rather than $50,000, we could inform every voter in your districts if the election weren't held.
And I see we have a Lupe Ramos.
Yeah, city attorney. Oh, we have a Councilmember Mead that's online for the record. City attorney. Just for clarification, I hear the city manager's idea, and I know in this meeting we're not if we were to go that direction, we're not earmarking funds, but is that fair for us to do that as well if we don't use these dollars for that? Possibly Indio Live mailer during the election season, something of that nature.
I think we can certainly work within the confines of Regulation 18091. That's the mass mailing prohibition that the city manager is referencing. There's certain prohibitions on the kind of information we can put on the mailer so that it's not essentially a campaign.
It's not political
at city's expense. But seeing as how the election is canceled, it's not really going to be campaigning, is it? I think it's important to give that public notice as well. So I think we could work with the city manager to put together a program and bring it back forward to have that money allocated for that purpose.
Okay, so just for clarification, before I even ask for another motion, and I'll give Councilmember Mead an opportunity if she'd like to weigh in on this. So this election cycle, we have two candidates, District 2 and, correct me, 3?
No, no, 4.
District 4, who are running unopposed, and if they choose to be on the ballot, it's going to run us about $50,000 to have these two council members on the ballot, Mayor Pro Tem and the mayor. Or we could choose to pass this resolution and utilize the funds in a different manner if we choose so. So I would ask Councilmember Mead if she'd like to weigh in, and then I'll ask for another vote. I certainly would prefer to be on the ballot, but I know we can't earmark any funds for any kind of candidate because it's not political. If we were to go a different alternative route, I'm pretty sure that maybe we could come to some sort of consensus after that. So I'll let Councilmember Ortiz weigh in as well, if you'd like to weigh in, and we could go that route before we ask for another motion.
Sure. Go
Just
ahead.
real quick, has there been a vote yet?
No,
No,
Oh, okay, okay.
welcome.
Would you like to weigh in, Ms. Amit?
No, go ahead, Oscar.
Oh, yeah, no, I still think it's important to have the names on the ballot for voter participation, for education of the community, seeing that we're on there. I think people were waiting to mark that ballot, right? I think people are proud when they mark the ballot. I think it's an important process, so I'm not okay with removing the names from the ballot.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Amit?
Well, in my experience, when there's only one name on the ballot, people don't vote for that seat. Just statistically, they feel they're not given a choice. What I don't know, though, because it wasn't in the staff report, is the write-in candidacy time period also relinquished if we take this resolution on?
Yes, Mayor. Yes, council member. So if the council decides to approve the resolution, then there is no time for candidate write-ins.
And what is the deadline for write-ins? I mean, we would be taking away someone's potential. Now, I don't know of anybody that's going to run, but.
Yes, so
What is the
the
deadline?
deadline for the write-ins ends October 25th.
Oh, yeah.
However, so for write-ins, they will go through the same process, still collect 20 to 30 nomination signatures. However, their name does not appear on the ballots, and there is no option to submit a ballot designation or a candidate statement.
Right, and by us moving this resolution forward, we're taking away the public's right to think about it till October, whatever. That's one point that was not brought out in the staff report. So I'm not affected by this vote. I can see city manager's position wanting to save $50,000. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the people's right to vote and the people's right to make a decision to run. And I don't want to take either one of those away.
All right. So with that being said, I appreciate the conversation and I appreciate everyone's perspective on it. It's certainly important to give all of our constituents the opportunity to vote. However, two of us are running unopposed. So with that being said, if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion on this. Well,
motion that's in front, the motion we have in front of us is not allowing, right? How I take this?
correct. The motion is for us to be appointed and
Right.
and not allow. City clerk, I know it doesn't. It's kind of confusing because if we adopt this resolution, Councilmember Amit brought up a great point that what about the write-in situation? It's still to October.
Yeah.
That's
And if we don't take any action tonight, Mayor, then we just have to take the action to authorize the county to hold the elections for all the districts. So we don't have to take action on this resolution if we don't agree with it. I don't know how everybody feels. I just am giving you that information.
I don't see wasting. In my opinion, there's not going to be any write-ins. Their name's not going to be on the ballot. They're not going to have any candidacy. They have no chance of winning. And $50,000 is half of the grant money we talked about, and we talked about it not being enough. Half the grant money. We thought $100,000 wasn't enough. We could take that $50,000 and put to grant. I just don't see putting people's names on the ballots. They're going to have no competition to be able to win when we can save the city $50,000. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And if we can come to some solution later, maybe sending out a mailer with everybody, if it's on it, saying, here's are your new districts, these are your representatives for this area, then so be it. I just don't think it's to have somebody's name checked on a box when you automatically are going to win, because there's no chance that anybody else can come back and win. So I wasted $50,000. That's my personal opinion.
I agree. And I hate putting it in the pocket of the county as well. That really draws ire from me.
Yeah, and like I said, I respect all of our council members and Mayor Pro Tem's position on this, but at the end of the day, it's still everyone's right until that day to vote. So city clerk, I don't know if we take a roll call vote or if we just don't take any action.
I'm going to make a recommended motion adopting resolution 10324, appointing the qualified candidates as elected for council member District 2 and 4 as a result of having only one qualified candidate for each office during the nomination period for the November 8th, 2022 general municipal election, or continue to hold the election for council members District 2 and 4 and one qualified candidate for each contest for the November 8th. And I am recommending that we appoint the 2 qualified candidates.
Yeah.
I have a motion by Councilmember Miller and a second by Councilmember Holmes. Have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Holmes,
Aye.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Councilmember Ramos Amit,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz,
Nay.
and Mayor Furman.
Nay. The motion passes, and so we could take action on this item. And I appreciate all the insight and the input. We did go through the public process of this, so the motion passes. So we'll move on to item number 4, which is public comments for items not on the agenda. Do we have any public comments?
I have no comments, Mayor.
All right, we have no public comments on this item. So the next item is number 5. That's adjournment until the next council meeting, joint meeting with IWA, and that would be September 21st, 2022. I will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you.